Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you what worked to finally get rid of a very common warning on the dash of a Chevy truck. In this case, we're looking at a 2012 Suburban 5.3 liter with an engine hot, AC turned off warning on the dash. Now if you don't have a way to read a code, I'll save you some time, because what you'll probably find is a P0128 or engine coolant temperature below thermostat regulator temperature, which makes little sense since the warning is engine hot. Anyway, a common response, of course, is to replace the thermostat, which requires a coolant flush. If you want to know where the thermostat is, I'll show you. It's on the front of the engine on the passenger side, right above the AC compressor. But it's possible you might want to check something else before you start pulling all your coolant out. In this case, I did replace the thermostat, I confess, and it didn't help. So I went to the coolant sensor, and it's very close to the exhaust manifold, and it's right next to the #1 spark plug. A couple of problems with that. One is that it may get bumped by someone replacing the #1 plug, and it's also going to get very hot and brittle sitting next to the exhaust manifold. Because of all that heat, sure enough, if you look at the wires on this, now I removed all the protection, and there's a small gray clip that's been removed, but you can see very clearly there's a couple of cracks in the yellow wire. A damaged wire like this will increase resistance in the circuit, and that will reduce the voltage going to the computer, which results in a false low temperature reading on the engine. Now that's what caused this code in the first place, is the temperature was too low for too long, and so we're going to have to replace this connector. In this case, I'm going to use a Dorman brand. This is an 85-100. It's designed for the GM trucks. You could use an equivalent as well. This happened to be available at local auto parts stores, and it's readily available on the internet as well. Now the harness on this new plug, you can see the ends are not pre-stripped, and depending on the kind of connector you're going to use, you're probably going to want to strip these. Now I keep these crimp connectors on hand, and if you strip the ends of the wire, you can go ahead and use these. In this case, I'm going to be pretty particular about the quality of the connection. I'm going to use solder. In either case, you're going to need to strip the insulation off the end. So let's go ahead and take care of that. And now let's go ahead and remove the plug. We'll cut high enough so that we have very healthy insulation on the wire. That looks good. And now we need to take a look at that plug. Let me show you a very good close-up. So the tan wire looks like it's in pretty good shape, but the yellow one, as you can see, it's very brittle, and if I bend it over a little bit, you can see a lot of exposed copper in there. Not too good when it's close to a spark plug and close to the exhaust manifold, and probably it's affecting the resistance going through the circuit. So it's a good thing we're replacing it. Once we strip the ends of the wire from the harness, we are now ready to do a quality solder connection. But we're going to insulate our new connection with heat shrink tubing. Now I bought this assorted pack at a very common hardware store, and heat shrink tubing is just what it says. You heat it up with a flame and it shrinks over the connection that you've made. It's great stuff. In this case, we're going to use 2 layers of it in 2 different sizes. I'm doing that because of the proximity to the exhaust manifold. This connection is going to be in a very hot location. It's going to get plenty of abuse, so I want it to be protected. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and mesh the strands of the wire together and give it a good twist. This alone gives no strength. This is just strong enough to hold things in place while you fill this twisted connection with solder. So just hold the soldering gun up against it until it gets hot enough, and you'll know it's hot enough when the solder melts by touching the copper wire, and it fills it up pretty quickly. And once you've done both sides, this is what you should have. I'll bring this a little bit closer so you can see. These are excellent solder filled connections. So now go ahead and center your shrink tubing over the connection. And once you get one end of the tubing shrunk, you can go ahead and let go and shrink the rest of it. It goes very quickly. Let's go ahead and slide the next one on. And again, this may seem excessive, but because of the location of all of this, these connections and the plug, I just felt it would make sense to put a little extra insulation on there. Okay, those are very good connections. Now we need to go ahead and protect all this. We will be putting flexible conduit back over everything because of the location and the proximity to the exhaust manifold. So we're going to go ahead and tidy up some of the excess wire. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and finish up by putting a layer of tape over the entire length. Still not enough protection. So now we can put the flexible conduit back over that, and we're done. The code did not come back, so in this case, this was a very good fix that might save you from doing an unnecessary thermostat replacement. If this helps you out, please do give a thumbs up and subscribe, and if you know anybody else trying to do this, please do share this video. Thanks for watching.